Are you wanting some tips on how to say your affirmations more consistently? Are you wanting to include them in your day, but just can't figure out when is the best time and maybe how you should even be doing it? Well, today I'm going to share with you some tips on how to be more consistent with your affirmations and how to include them in your regular routine so that you don't have to think about another thing. Hey friend, welcome back. My name is Danie. I am the Peace Teacher, Subconscious Queen, helping women just like you get out of your own way so that you can design the life you know you deserve. All right, my friend. So last weekend, I was thinking about one of the very first times that I can remember speaking affirmations, but it was when I was doing it without knowing so. You know how in sometimes when you think back on a new habit that you have and you realize you've been doing it all along? Well, that is what I realized. When I thought about it, it goes back to when Danie was getting her first job, one of her first jobs at least. I was about 16 years old. I had just gotten my license and I was on a mission to find a job, to get paid because I wanted to make my own money. And so I had my license, and so I borrowed my dad's truck and I was like, okay, let's go find a job. And at the time, we're talking about early 90s. And so we didn't really have cell phones. We didn't have online applications. We couldn't search the web to see who was hiring. We didn't have any of those things. So you did the good old fashioned door knocking. If you remember this, let me know in the comments below. But this is where we went out, walked into the store, asked for the manager, and got an application. Do you remember this? So here I am, 16-year-old Danie, who needs to walk into the store and do this. But let me tell you about 16-year-old Danie. 16-year-old Danie was very shy, and even more shy when she was not with somebody. So when she was all by herself, very, very shy, did not ask for what she wanted, did not have that confidence to just go and ask for things that she wanted. So doing this act of walking into a store and asking somebody for an application, yeah. So what did I have to do? Well, what I ended up doing was walking into Ross Dress for Less in Chino, California, off Peyton Avenue, for those of you that know. And I walked in, and immediately, if you know Ross, or if you can remember, it is crowded. There's lots going on, right? The check stands are right at the beginning of, like, when you first walk in, there's a security guard and there's people just moving around. And 16-year-old shy little Danie walks in and is like, oh my goodness, what do I do? So I kind of like, hey, hi, to the cash register, or to the cashier, nothing. So I do it again. Hi, excuse me, nothing. So then a girl comes walking by. She has a badge on. She's carrying some clothes. And I was like, excuse me, nothing. Okay, so I'm literally about to turn around and walk away. And then I remembered what I told myself when I got out of the truck just a few minutes earlier, which was, you can do this. You can do this, Danie. You got this. Come on, you can do this. And I kept saying that to myself over and over and over. So as I'm standing there and looking lost like a little puppy, the security guard comes over to me and says, can I help you? And I said, yes, I'm looking for a manager. And he's like, oh, okay, let me go get one for you. So he walked over to the cashier, got her attention, and bam, a manager came over to talk to me. And once I was talking to the manager, I was fine. But that initial point where I was literally about to turn around and go back to the truck and not complete my mission of finding a job. Now, Ross Just for Us was not my first job. I'll save that for another time. But here's the thing. So last week, I talked about affirmations and what you may not be doing, the one thing that you're probably not doing when you're speaking affirmations that makes all the difference. And I shared in there my story of my first conscious decision to speak affirmation. So if you haven't seen that video, I'm going to invite you to go on back and check that out. It is here on my Facebook page under videos. You can go check it out. This is probably the last video besides this one. And it's entitled Why Your Affirmations Aren't Working. So highly recommend you go check that out. But today I wanted to share with you some tips on speaking affirmations, because I've been speaking affirmations, as I've seen, pretty much all my entire life, but really consciously making that decision to do so just to be about 6 years ago. So I want to give you some tips that you can do, because I get asked a question all the time is, how often should I be doing them? When should I do them? You know, how can I always forget to do them? Do you have any tips for that? So I want to share with you some thoughts that I have that I've seen worked for me and that I've recommended to my clients and have seen them be able to start speaking affirmations more consistently and throughout their day, which I think is the best way. So number one, I would say is your affirmations, if you can do them daily, do them. You see, because the more you do something, the repetition of something, it's not practice makes perfect. It actually is practice makes permanent. So what happens is when these affirmations are being said and our subconscious mind is hearing them, what they're doing is they're creating this belief within us. They're creating this new neural pathway of an idea. And so the more and more you do it, the more and more you will be able to create that new neural pathway. So daily is the one thing I would say is, if you can speak your affirmations daily, do it. And also, I would say if you can do it throughout the day, even better, right? A lot of people will do it like once a day, in the morning, in the evening, or sometime during their day. But if you can do it multiple times throughout the day, you're strengthening that new belief even more. So daily. Now, one of the things that I personally still do to this day is I speak them first thing in the morning. In fact, before I even get out of bed in the morning, I start speaking my affirmations. Now, my love, sometimes he likes to sleep a little late, so I don't actually sometimes verbalize them, especially I don't want to wake him up. But I do it before I get out of bed, and sometimes it's just in my mind, and I get into the state of the feeling that I want for my affirmations, and I start just going through them in my mind, right? Which is a perfectly fine way to do it. If you can't actually speak them, like say them out loud because there's people around, you don't have to. It's perfectly fine. It still works the same way. If you can speak it, even better, but no worries if you can't. So first thing in the morning, before you even get out of bed, right? And a trick, a little pro tip for you here is, when your alarm goes off, I changed my alarm message to say my affirmation. So there's usually one affirmation that I'm really working on, or the idea that I'm working on. And sometimes that one affirmation will trigger a few others, but that is the main one that I'm usually working on. And so I have that one written in my note as my alarm title, right? So when I see it, when I go to turn off my alarm, I see it. And then it's that reminder for me to say my affirmations. So then I say my affirmations, and I sit there for a few moments and just say my affirmations and get into that idea and get into that mindset of whatever it is that I'm working towards. Now, the other tip I have for you in speaking affirmations and how to include them in your daily routine would be to, every time you cross a mirror. So, you know, every time you go to the bathroom, right, there's usually a mirror in the bathroom. You know, when you're washing your hands, right, really important to wash our hands these days, even more so than it was before. And they say to wash it for at least 20 seconds, right? Well, that's 20 seconds that you have to speak your affirmations. You could also do that like if you're in the hallway, right? Maybe a hallway or your bedroom, wherever there's a mirror. Whenever you come across it, just take a minute and say your affirmation a couple of times. You'll find that you'll start seeing all these mirrors, and there's all these times that you get to speak your affirmations. It's kind of cool. The next thing would be during a meditation. Now, I don't do this as much as I used to because I actually do it during hypnosis now, but you can do it during a meditation. So say you're somebody who likes to meditate, and maybe you have a few moments, you have a regular meditation practice, you can include these affirmations within that meditation practice. So you can add it maybe either in the beginning or the end, or even somewhere in the middle that feels right for you. So it's really important for us to use the things that we are already doing to add in additional things that we want to do. It makes it so much easier for our mind, because our mind likes to shortcut things. It's going to try to find the quickest and fastest way to do something. So if you can add it into something you're already doing, even better. All right, so the next thing is going to be record them and leave like a space for you to repeat it. So when I think I was probably about 5 years ago, I recorded a bunch of affirmations that I was doing, and it was probably about a minute of just affirmations, a bunch of different affirmations. And I recorded it, and I left a little bit of space between each affirmation for me to repeat it. And then every time I got into the car and I was driving somewhere, I would turn it on and listen to it. It was actually one of the first things I listened to every morning when I was in corporate, when I was on my way to work. My drive, luckily, was only about 10-15 minutes, but my very first part of my drive was my affirmations. And I let that play over and over for a few minutes, and then I continue on with whatever else I was going to listen to for the day. But it's a really good way for if you're, getting ready in the morning, you can record it and then just listen to it. And it makes it even better that it's your own voice that you're listening to. I know there's tons of apps out there that actually will say affirmations and then you can repeat them, or you can just listen to them. Either way is fine, but if you can record your own, even better. All right, another idea would be to do them while you're having your cup of coffee or your cup of tea. Let's say in the morning, you sit down and this moment of just drinking your coffee or your tea feels so good, right? And you just want to be here. What if you took a moment just to say a few affirmations while you're drinking your coffee, right? Or every time you take a sip of your coffee, you might say this affirmation. Or maybe even while you're waiting for your tea to steep or your coffee to brew, right? That's another time where you're already waiting for something to happen. You can include speaking your affirmations then. The next one would be right before bed. Now, this is another good one, as I like to do this sometimes when I'm drifting off into sleep. I'll start just thinking about my day. It's part of my evening routine, actually, is to start recapping my day and celebrating all the wins and thinking about what I could do differently. And then I add in some of the affirmations or the one affirmation I might be working on. And I just allow myself to just think about that as I slowly start to fall asleep. The next thing would be in the morning, right? While you're brushing your teeth, or even in the evening, right before bed, when you're brushing your teeth or you're washing your face, it's another good time. It's during these times when, what are we really doing? We're not really doing anything but washing our face or brushing our teeth. But yet we have a few moments to speak our affirmations. So the next thing I would say is to set an alarm throughout the day. Now, this really helped me when I was first starting to speak affirmations, was to set an alarm several times throughout the day. So it was every 2-3 hours or so, I would have an alarm that would go off, and the name title, again, the alarm title would be the name of the affirmation. So every time it would come up, I'd see it and I think, okay, and I'd say it a couple of times and that's it. I didn't make a big deal about it. I didn't stop everything that I was doing and hold on, it's just, I would see it, I would say it a couple of times, and then I'd move on and, wait for the alarm to come off or to go off the next time. The other thing, and my favorite way to do it, and which is how I generally do my affirmations now, is in hypnosis. So you can either listen to a recording that is online on YouTube. I think I even have a couple out there that you might want to listen to. I'll link some for you that actually put you into a nice, relaxed state, which then allows for our subconscious mind to be open and awakened. And these suggestions go directly to your subconscious mind. This is even more powerful than just speaking them consciously, because now we're activating and including our subconscious mind directly. This is super powerful. So I would highly recommend listening to one of the hypnosis recordings that I have that are directly related to speaking affirmations. Now, I have one that I came out probably a month ago when everything kind of came down, and it was Hypnosis for Uncertain Times. So I'll link that up in the description up above, and check that one out, because that one is direct affirmations for this time, for the uncertainty of everything that's going on. So highly recommend that one. But if there is a specific hypnosis recording that you would like with affirmations, reach out to me and I'd love to record that for you. I do that for my clients on a regular basis, so I would love to do that for you. All right, and then the other thing I did want to mention during these tips for speaking affirmations is to other times that you can speak them. Now, I talked about this is kind of how to include it in your daily routine so you can be more consistent with this and really have a habit of speaking affirmations on a regular basis. The other thing I would say is there are other times in our lives where affirmations are so important, just like back in the early 90s, where 16-year-old Danie was speaking affirmations and she didn't even know it. The times where we are challenged or we're struggling or we need that extra strength, right? That's why we hear a lot of people, I know somebody posts something on Facebook and it's like, they're struggling or they're having some type of challenge, and you'll see comments in the posts that say, "You got this, girl, you can do this," right? Those are all affirmations that are being spoken to that person, right? This is what we can do for ourselves when we're feeling that, is to have those phrases of like, okay, I can do this, right? I got this, or I'm strong, right? That was a really powerful one for me for about a year, that completely helped me get through one of my most challenging times in life. So there you have it, my friend. Those are my tips for speaking affirmations. I'll run through them really quickly as a quick recap. So if you missed one, but I talked about speaking them first thing in the morning before you even get out of bed. Whenever you're in front of a mirror, whether that's in the bathroom or you're just crossing by a mirror. In meditation, if you're already doing a meditation, you can record your affirmations, listen to yourself and repeat them. You can do them while you're drinking your coffee or tea, or even while it's brewing, right? You can do them right before bed. In a nice relaxed state as you recap your day. You can do them while you're brushing your teeth. You can set an alarm and have the alarm go off throughout the day, and even name the title of your alarm with your affirmation, so you have it right there, quick and easy. And then one I didn't mention, but I'll mention it now, is YouTube has so many fantastic videos out there with affirmations. Oftentimes, my love and I will have a video playing in our living room while we're just doing things around the house, and we just have it playing in the background. That's another great way to hear them, and then oftentimes I'm repeating them, right? All right, my friend, that is it for us today. I would love to hear your tips for speaking affirmations, what you are doing to be more consistent in your habit of speaking affirmations. Come follow me over on Instagram at Danie C. Muniz for even more fun stuff. All right, my friend, have a fantastic rest of your week, and I look forward to coming back and chatting with you next week. As always, remember, close your eyes, take a deep breath, and find